Okay, it's Saturday morning, election day. It's a little after 8. Just hit the road. Normally by now candidates should already all be at their polling places. All their volunteers should be out there, and they should be working that early crowd, especially because it's going to be warm today. So they want to make sure that they got somebody there from the minute the polls open until it starts to get too hot for people to start coming out. But I've already talked to a few candidates this morning and over the telephone, and I swear some of them were still wiping the pillow marks off their face. So looks like a lot of them got a late start. I'm on the road right now, heading over to make my first interview of the day. More in a bit. Okay, first stop of the day, we're at Emma Acosta's house. She's locked up in the race against Alejandro Lozano for District 3. So we're going to go inside and see what it looks like early morning campaign day. You can see they've got the place stocked with goodies, a bunch of burritos. These are going to the South Zone, and they're pretty organized here. They've got South Zone. North Zone already went out this morning at 7, and then they've got bags for all their volunteers at the polling place. So it looks like everything is pretty much a well-oiled machine right now.
Yeah. So let's say our voter lives there. We're going to double reference with your precinct map and then with MapQuest if you're unfamiliar with the street so you know exactly how to get there. Okay, and these will give you step-by-step directions how to get to Tamburo from here. Okay, we've got our precinct maps. We can first reference it there. As our phone bankers talk to voters and get requests for rides, we'll set that up. You guys double reference that you know where the street is, and you can check with MapQuest before you go out for them. Okay, so that's how it'll work.
Okay, go ahead and give us your name.
My name is Hector Maldonado.
Okay, Hector, and what are you going to be doing today?
I'm going to be helping taking people to the polls, making sure they get their votes in today, and helping with this election.
Okay, so what your basic job today is going to be going out, and anybody that calls in here to headquarters that says they need a ride,
If they need a ride, we'll be there for them.
and you're going to go pick them up, take them to the polls, bring them back?
Absolutely.
All right, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Okay, so obviously a campaign manager's job is never done, handling some last minute details, but tell me a little bit about what's it been like to try to manage a campaign amid, the turmoil that this campaign's been in and all the media attention and all the peripheral stuff going on. How is that, has it had an impact, and how is it to run a campaign in the middle of something like that?
Well, I think the important thing to recognize in any campaign is that there will always be controversy. There will always be issues that arise that need to be addressed. The important thing and the most monumental thing is how you handle them. What's the resolution, how you get from point A to point B. And I think that Emma has done an amazing job in addressing issues that have arisen in a very positive, clean way. To not respond is the same thing to assume guilt or to give in to an opponent. If you respond, she has an opportunity to give her side of the story, explain things so that voters are aware of the issues, aware what happened from her perspective and from his perspective, and it's up to them to make up their mind about, in the end, who they vote for.
So has any of the controversy had any kind of impact on the ground operations or day-to-day operations of the campaign, or you've been pretty isolated from that? Insulated, I should say.
As far as logistically, everything happens regardless of what's going on outside. We have to have the foundation running properly, efficiently, and effectively in order for it to be successful in the field for our volunteers. Yes, they're going to have to handle questions. Yes, they're going to have to handle any concerns that the voters have at the polls. But as far as the logistics of when they get their food, who their drivers are, calling voters to remind them to go out to vote, if anybody needs a ride, coordinating that, coordinating signs at all the voting places, all of that takes place outside of the public's eye per se, before any of the controversies are addressed publicly by media. I mean, media doesn't usually cover the background or foundation of a campaign. All you see is the results. You see some of the campaign flyers that go out, but you have no idea how the volunteers are organized. Our campaign meetings that go on every week, the countless hours that go into analyzing data, strategizing where to put people, prioritizing, coordinating lists of the target voters, and targeting specific areas. I mean, concerns are very specific, north and south of the freeway. You have to address both. You have to be prepared. All of our volunteers have to be trained. All of that comes into play.
What has been the biggest challenge in this particular campaign? I know you've worked with other campaigns previously, so you've been around the block, despite the fact that you're under 30. But I mean, what's unique about this race? What's the challenge that you've faced in this race that you haven't seen in others?
Well, I think for me, what it comes down to is if I'm going to work for a candidate and sacrifice my time, my energy, I have to really believe in who they are, what they stand for, and that they really are making a difference in our community.
Mm-hmm.
If I feel that wholeheartedly, I'm going to do anything I can to get this individual elected, and that's what I've done with Emma.
What have you learned? What have you taken away from this particular campaign?
This has definitely been the most controversial campaign that I've worked in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's what has been so challenging, is that every day something new seems to arise, a new challenge. Things need to be researched. You have to be prepared from both angles, from a legal perspective of what you can and can't do, how to protect yourself and your candidate, to make sure that you're always doing the right thing, regardless of any problems or any concerns that arise. And I think that that's the important thing, is to always be prepared to do the work, to do the research, in order to do the right thing in the end.